Prince Harry feels he has been singled out for unjustified, inferior treatment since Megxit, the Court of Appeal in London heard today. The Duke of Sussex and his wife Meghan Markle felt forced to step back from frontline royal duties in 2020 as they considered they were not being protected by the institution. His KC Shahid Fatima has said, Harry has flown 5,000 miles to be at the Royal Courts of Justice to support his own 2-day appeal against a ruling over the right he, Meghan, Archie, and Lilibet have to taxpayer-funded bodyguards while visiting the UK. But hitting back the Home Office's, barrister said the Duke of Sussex's appeal involves a continued failure to see the wood for the trees. It came as Mail Online revealed that Harry is not thought to have seen his father, King Charles, before the monarch jetted off for Italy for his 4-day state visit this week. The California-based royal is challenging the dismissal of his high court legal action against the Home Office over the decision of the Executive Committee for the Protection of Royalty and Public Figures, RAVIC, that he should receive a different degree of protection when in the country of his birth, because he stepped down as a full-time royal. His case has cost the British taxpayer £500,000 so far. Opening the Duke of Sussex's appeal this morning, with her royal client sat just behind her, Meghan Fatima said he had been singled out for inferior treatment when he was stripped of the high level of protection he was previously given by the Metropolitan Police. When RAVIC made its February 2020 decision about the appellant's protective security, it did not apply its own terms of reference to that decision-making process. She said, adding that RAVIC came up with a different and so-called bespoke process. The appellant, Prince Harry, does not accept that bespoke means better. In fact, in his submission, it means that he has been singled out for different, unjustified, and inferior treatment. Prince Harry was sat in court following his lead counsel's case, sipping from a plastic bottle of still mineral water as she spoke. In written submissions submitted to the Court of Appeal today, Harry's KC, viewed as a legal trailblazer because in 2016 she became Britain's first hijab-wearing barrister, said, "This appeal concerns the most fundamental right, to safety and security of person." She continued, on January 8, 2020, the Duke of Sussex and his wife felt forced to step back from the role of full-time official working members of the royal family as they considered they were not being protected by the institution, but they wished to continue their duties in support of the late Queen as privately funded members of the royal family. Meghan Fatima later said that Harry was not in a position to make any informed representations to RAVIC. He added, his security does not appear to have been discussed at any formal RAVIC meeting, and there are no official notes or detailed minutes recording the approach to be taken to his security and the rationale for it. According to Meghan Fatima, KC, when RAVIC stripped the prince of his top-level security in February 2020, shortly after he and wife Meghan had announced they were stepping back from royal duties and relocating to North America, it did not follow his own rules. And the judge who previously ruled RAVIC had acted correctly was mistaken. Meghan Fatima said according to its own guidelines, RAVIC should have commissioned an assessment of Prince Harry's particular security needs from another specialist body, the Risk Management Board. It has failed to do so, instead, reaching its decision by bespoke means. Meghan Fatima said, the appellant, the Duke of Sussex, does not accept that bespoke means better. In fact, in his position, it means he has been singled out for different, inferior treatment. The hearing before Sir Geoffrey Voss, Lord Justice Bean, and Lord Justice Eddies is due to conclude on Wednesday, with a decision expected in writing at a later date. It came as Mail Online reveal that the king is not thought to have met with his youngest son when he flew into London from California the weekend ahead of his High Court showdown today. The Duke of Sussex landed from Los Angeles on Sunday, but his father spent the weekend at Highgrove, his private Gloucestershire home, resting ahead of this week's busy state visit to Italy. His Majesty then flew directly to Rome from RAF Bryce Norton with Queen Camilla on Monday afternoon. It came after the Mail's Richard Eden revealed Harry's skipped the wedding of one of his so-called band of brothers, despite being invited, and in the UK. Today, just as Harry walked purposefully into the Royal Courts of Justice for the 10 a.m. hearing, Charles and Camilla were afforded a ceremonial welcome, including a flypast by Italian President Sergio Mattarella and his daughter, Laura Mattarella, at the Quirinale Palace on Tuesday. The Duke of Sussex has decided to travel 5,000 miles to be at the High Court in London to support his own appeal against a ruling on the level of security he, Meghan Markle, Archie, and Lilibet are afforded while in the country of his birth. Wearing a suit, white shirt, and tie, Harry arrived looking stern, clutching his mobile phone tightly. There was a brief smile and wave as he entered the historic building. Harry's long-term personal bodyguard Dave Langdown, 57, a former Metropolitan Police officer, entered the courtroom 20 minutes before the case was due to start. He scanned the room to ensure it was safe for the prince's evidently imminent arrival. At 10:24 a.m., Prince Harry himself walked into court, clad in a charcoal gray suit. Offering a forced smile grimace to the media, he took a seat in the third row back from the judge, 2 rows behind his 2 King's Counsel barristers, Shahid Fatima and Jason Pobjoy. Mr. Langdown took a seat in the public gallery behind his boss. Harry believes he is entitled to armed bodyguards, paid for by the British taxpayer, and is fighting a 2020 decision to reduce the level of security after he and Meghan Markle stepped back from life as working royals and emigrated to the United States. He has expressed safety concerns about returning to the UK with his wife and children. It came after landed in the UK just before King Charles Roman III jetted off to Italy for a historic 4-day state visit. The king and his son are also believed to have differing views over Harry's decision to pursue his legal fight with the Home Office, which has cost the British taxpayer £500,000 so far. Harry has been taking legal action in the UK over a decision made by the Executive Committee for the Protection of Royalty and Public Figures, RAVIC. In February 2020, over the level of protection he should receive in the country. The High Court previously heard that his status had changed as a result of no longer being a full-time working member of the royal family. But Harry has argued his children, Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet, cannot feel at home or safe in the UK unless his police protection is fully restored. His legal fight comes as the Charity Commission announced it had launched an investigation into Centibale, the charity he founded, amid a bitter boardroom rift between Harry and chairwoman, Dr. Sophie Shandoka. She has accused Prince Harry of harassment and bullying, a claim that is denied. For his part, Harry, who stood down as patron of the charity last week alongside co-founder Prince in support of a group of trustees who have also quit, has accused Mtks Shanduaka of telling blatant lies. He said they fully expected the investigation will unveil the truth that collectively forced us to resign. Prince Harry added, "We remain hopeful this will allow for the charity to be put in the right hands immediately, for the sake of the communities we serve." His arrival in the UK capital comes as the King and Queen jetted into Rome before visiting the city of Ravenna, as they used the soft power diplomacy of the monarchy to strengthen Britain's relationship with its ally. A separate state visit to the Holy See, the government of the Roman Catholic Church in the Vatican, has been cancelled, as Pope Francis is recuperating after leaving hospital following treatment for double pneumonia. With a number of Vatican events removed from the itinerary in Rome, the remaining engagements in the Italian capital have been spread over 2 days, and extra elements added to some engagements. At the weekend, the Pope made a surprise appearance in St. Peter's Square, in the Vatican. He appeared with an oxygen tube under his nose and was using a wheelchair. Charles will become the first British monarch to address both houses of Italy's parliament, the Chamber of Deputies, and the Senate of the Republic.